Rainwater harvesting and groundwater recharging programs in the university campus were started under his leadership and guidance.
अभी आप लोग देख रहे होंगे कि पूरे क्षेत्र में जितने भी ट्यूबवेल थे उनका जल स्तर नीचे जा रहा है.
All of you have observed how all the tube wells have been affected by the fall of the water table in the region. Tube wells and hand pumps are unable to produce the water they were able to earlier. Even the old working wells are drying up. Now, if we look at the reasons behind this, we will see that the singular most important factor is that the efforts in groundwater recharging have been severely lacking. And for the future, we must look at the possibility of the serious depletion of our groundwater resources. These aspects must be communicated to our villagers. But beyond the dangers ahead, you must communicate to them how they can sustain irrigation by rainwater conservation and can carry out other economically attractive activities like rearing fish, by which they can earn up to 40,000 rupees, or by growing lucrative cash crops like makhana that help them to earn profits between 40 to 60,000 rupees per hectare. The moment the peasantry becomes aware of these profitable ventures, they will listen carefully to what you have to communicate. They will also appreciate the added advantage of conserving rainwater and other surface water resources, not only for sustained irrigation, but also for profitable aquaculture. This immediately will bring their attention to the fundamental issue of groundwater resources.
और इससे सबसे बड़ा फायदा ये होगा कि यदि सरफेस वाटर से ही आपका सिंचाई का, एक्वाकल्चर का और सारा काम चल जा रहा है, तो ऐसी स्थिति में जो ग्राउंड वाटर है उसका दोहन नहीं होगा.
There are 16 ponds in and around the BHU campus. For surface rainwater harvesting and storing for direct use, 5 ponds were renovated. Just to provide practical training, these sites were constructed for rooftop rainwater harvesting and groundwater recharging. 7 recharging structures were also constructed. This gave excellent results and it created a revolution all around.
जिस पानी को हम यूज कर रहे हैं
Before we re-employ water for groundwater recharging, we must make sure that it is not polluted. Our first step is to bring water samples to our laboratory and to run a range of physical, chemical and biological tests on each of them so that all the process parameters can be conclusively observed. It is only after the lab reports clear the sample that we permit any water for use in groundwater recharging. Now let's see the 3 methods and the processing of harvesting rainwater. In the first method, rainwater is stored for direct use. In the second one, recharging of groundwater aquifers are made from the rooftop runoff. Rainwater that is collected on the rooftop of the building is diverted by drain pipes to a filtration tank from which it flows into the recharging well. In the third method, the recharging of groundwater aquifers are done with runoff from the ground area. In this area, the rainwater that is collected from the open area may be diverted by drains or pipes to the ponds or recharge dug well or bore well through the filter tanks. This filtration system is constructed with the help of pebbles, gravel and coarse sand. In between each layer, nylon net is used for further filtration. An abandoned bore well or dug well can be used cost-effectively for this purpose. The Technology Transfer Program of Banaras Hindu University through the Rural Training Program and the subsequent formation of water conservation societies backed up with an awareness-raising efforts through printed literature, vocal education, and Nukkad Nataks, are being initiated under the leadership of the Paryavaran Mitra Puraskar awardee, Professor B.D. Tripathi. Local villagers are being educated in their local native language very effectively.
खुदाई करवाई और कुछ तालाब ऐसे हैं जिनको हम लोगों ने कूड़े से पहले पाट दिया था। गुरु गणेश मां शारदा धर गणेश का ध्यान सरस्वती को कर नमन धर गणेश का ध्यान प्रस्तुत नाटक जल क्रांति का सुना रहा दास्तान।
खाना खाओ, हम अभी पानी का बर्फ लेके तुरंत आते हैं।
थोड़ी सी लापरवाही के चलते इतना सारा पानी बर्बाद हो गया।
तो क्या हुआ भाई, कौन सा हमें पैसा देना है?
आपको तो पानी की कीमत नहीं समझ में आएगी। जिनका मकान 200 वर्ग मीटर में बना है, उनको चाहिए कि रूफटॉप रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग पद्धति से जमीन के अंदर इस पानी को पहुंचाना होगा, क्योंकि यह एक सरकारी कानून बनाया गया है जिसके बनवाने के लिए सरकार से वित्तीय अनुदान भी मिल रहा है।
साहब जब हमारे बीच में आए हम लोगों को बहुत
When Professor Tripathi came to us with his good advice, we began to apply his ideas on the ground. We used this available pond and reared fish here and earned 50,000 rupees from the sales. The supply of adequate water for our efforts in conservation and recharging also contributed significantly to irrigation and further profitability for all of us in this village. We should give back to nature what we have taken from it. We have the resources, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the scientific tools to achieve these objectives. What is missing is our initiative, possible when we make water into a mass movement. That is why BHU is regarded as a pioneer center where scientists are doing excellent work on water conservation. It is important to educate people to save water. For this, the time has come when the Government of India should provide strength to the water conservation movement of the Banaras Hindu University by taking an initiative to make BHU the National Center for Water Conservation, so that the noble work continues on a much bigger platform and a milestone is achieved towards water conservation.